Drew here from LearnGuitarInLondon.com, playing Blank White Page by Mumford & Sons. My favourite Mumford & Sons song. Really like this. I did a bit of research on it, and it turns out that the first time they ever got together as a band and they sort of played, seen how things went, they wrote this song. So pretty good going, guys, you know, no kind of working your way up for you, straight onto this. So awesome, really great song. And I'm going to take you through how to play it. Now this is the full version, more or less. I mean, it's my interpretation of it, but it sounds pretty darn accurate, so I'm quite happy with it. You take your capo and you're going to be putting that on the 2nd fret for this song to make it sound like the studio version. If you don't have a capo, don't worry about it, just play everything, still what I'm saying, but without the capo, doesn't really matter. Okay, so let's get started on the lesson. So we're starting with an E minor chord. Right, so you take your middle finger, put it down on the 2nd fret on the A string. Take your ring finger and put it down on the 2nd fret also on the D string. If you don't know the names of the strings, it's Eddie, A, Dynamite, Goodbye, Eddie, E, A, D, G, B, E. Okay, so that's your first chord. Now, we're using a pick, okay, and what we're going to do with that first note of the chord is we're going to hit just the thickest string. Because you can hear on the record there's these individual notes. So I'm going to show you what he's doing there. He's playing the thickest string. Then he's going up, down, up on the bottom 3 open strings. And I'm also doing 2 little ghost drums, little misses there to keep my tempo. So down, miss, miss, up, down, miss, miss, up, down, up. Do ghost drums. It unlocks your rhythm, it makes you sit on the groove, and it works. Obviously I'm just speeding them up, but do the misses there. So that's the first part. Then the next part is he hits the 2nd string down on the A and does the same thing. Up, down, up. So it's down, miss, miss, up, down, miss, miss, up, down, up. Now it doesn't matter if occasionally you clip the wrong string, but what does matter is that you are just going to pick out those bass notes. So bass notes are the lowest sounding notes. Good. Okay, so that's the beginning. We do that 4 times. That's once, twice, etc. Okay. We then change to a C chord. Best way to change from a C chord from an E minor, we bring down the middle finger to the 2nd fret on the D. We bring the 3rd finger over to the 3rd fret on the A, and we bring the index finger down to the 1st fret on the B. That's your next chord, and it's always going to be the same rhythm. Okay, always the same rhythm, but we're going to be changing chords. Okay, so bass note now is on the A, so that's the 3rd fret on the A string. So it's down, up, down, miss, miss, up, down, up. And then we've got this. So you play open on the D string, and then you hammer with your middle finger that should be naturally sitting there for a C in any case. Okay, so a hammer is where you strike an open or strike a string and you hit it with this hand. This hand is then in charge of the rhythm, of the picking, not this hand, okay? So the best advice on hammer-ons is fast and dig into the string, so hit hard into the wood. Okay, and don't lift your finger off too far or you're going to miss your target. Okay? So there you go. We're then going to go to a G. Best way to do a G from a C chord. Happens a lot in a lot of songs. Move these 2 fingers up the string. So they're on the A string on the 2nd fret, G string on the 3rd fret on the E string, and then little finger down on the bottom string on the 3rd fret. Once again, bass note, so now it's changed to the thickest string on the 3rd fret. And then we're then going to do a similar hammer-on. But the hammer-on now is on this finger. So we're going to lift it up and hammer it down. Okay, we just pick the open string and then hit it with our finger. Okay, we're then going to go back to C and do the same thing. Okay, we're then going to go back to G again, so we're going to move our fingers up and we're going to go. Now that's called a bass run, so this is the G, so I'm going to do G hitting the bass note, strumming the bottom 3 strings, so then middle finger up to the 2nd fret, leaving the little finger held down on the 3rd fret. You can hear that's a different bass note. So it's always doing that miss up down up on the right hand. Okay? So I'm going to take you through, we're going to play that whole intro now. Alright, I'm going to do it a little bit slower so that hopefully you can play it along with me. Don't forget the ghost drums, and then you've got the hammer-ons on the C and the G the first time we play them. Okay, so 3, 4. So once we've done the G to this, okay, we're then going to go right back to E minor and do the whole sequence again, but this time with singing. So we're going to bring the middle finger down to the A string and then ring finger down to complete and back to the E minor. But this time it's exactly the same, but it's with the singing, so it's 4 of the E minor, C, G, with the bass note rundown. And that is your intro and your verse. So the lyrics, "Can you lie next to me," that part, and then once we've done a chorus it's a white blank page and a swelling rage. They are playing the second, I'm going to talk about the second verse once we get to it at the end about how they play it. But basically you've got all the chords you need now for the verse. So let's move on to this chorus. Okay, so this is your first chord for the chorus. Take a C, alright, and slide it up 3 frets. That's turning it into a D using the cage system. So there's your D. And we're also going to take our little finger and put it on the bottom string on the 5th fret, okay, so underneath our ring finger. That's your first chord. Strum the bottom 5 strings for that. We're just going to call that D for the time being. Okay, so that's your first chord. Oops. So then the next chord, we're going to take this, we're going to slide it up 2 frets, turning it from C into E, but we're just going to make a tiny little adjustment. We're going to lift up this finger, so lift up the middle finger and put the index finger on the D string on what would now be the 5th fret, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, and then little finger still on the bottom string underneath the 3rd. So it's kind of like moving that shape, but without the middle finger now. That one, strum the bottom 5. Make sure you've got open strings on the G and the B, sorry, D and the G. So that's your next chord. Then you're going to slide down to a regular C. So you can just keep sliding this shape along, and then it's now going to come down to the 1st fret. You should know how to do a C from earlier. But the only new addition is we're going to put the little finger down on the 3rd fret, like it's been moving around from the first chord that we did in the chorus. Okay? So it's slide up. Oops. Right, here to here. That's it. And okay, so that's your chorus chord sequence. So we go D, E, C, D, repeat, D, yeah, I got it that time, C and D, okay? And we're just strumming it and holding it for 2 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then when they sing it again, we've got this. So it's all down strums, it's called 8th beat down strums, and we're going 1 and 2, 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2. So it's 1 and 2 and 3. accents in there. I'm finding that very hard to count that at the same time. I'll slow it down. Okay, so you're just putting in some accents there with that chord sequence. And then we're into the, that's basically all the parts that you're going to need for the whole song. It really is up to you to start threading it all together, otherwise this lesson would go on for about another 45 minutes, okay? But they are really all the parts that you're going to need. When it goes, when they've done the chorus for the first time, it then kind of goes to this E minor, and it's all very dramatic. It's like, but still with that same rhythm pattern. He's not picking out the bass notes anymore, and the rhythm pattern is down. So down, miss, miss, up, down, down, miss, miss, up, down, down, miss, miss, up, down. Okay, so down, miss, miss, up, down, miss, miss, up, down, up. And it's all still the same order of chords, it's just that he's not really doing all these hammer-on business. It's a lot more kind of aggressive and laid into, okay, so he's kind of strumming a little bit harder. So that is all the parts. Listen to the record to thread it all together. It's absolutely great tune. There's only one part really, I mean there's a couple of rhythms that are slightly different as he goes on. One of them being... and there's another one where they start doing the that part, and you just hold a D to start with. This D, by the way. So... and so that's the only part really where there's a slight deviation in the order of the chords. Okay, so that has been the whole lesson. Really hope you've liked it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And also you can go to learnguitarinlondon.com where there are tons more lessons, lots of technique lessons, lots of lessons similar to Mumford & Sons. Thank you very much for watching. Take care. Bye.